Hi everyone, it's Nature here. Hope you're doing very well. So just wanted to come back again on our day 4 of our challenge, just to look again at who's going to be staying at our service accommodation. So if we recap very briefly, day 1 we looked at what service accommodation was about and how you can make £500 to £1,000 profit every single month from a property that you may not own yourself. So that was in 1 or 2 of the first videos we've done. Then we looked at yesterday how do you actually find those properties. So there's many strategies, and we specifically looked at how do you find property or how do you get property from agent, and we looked into how to approach agent and how we talk to agent and how important it is to build relationship with agent. In today's video, now I wanted to focus about who would actually stay at those service accommodation. Yes, there are many other ways to find properties, and I can cover that in a different video. But I wanted you to get to the understanding of how you can potentially make that £500 to £1,000 every single month. And I don't want to go too technical so you get confused. So what I'm trying to do now is to try and break it down into steps that makes it easier for you to understand and easier for you to digest. So we looked at what it is. We looked about how to find those property to be able to make that £500 or £1,000 every single month. Now, who's going to be staying in those properties to be able to get us the volume of income that we're looking at? Now, let's break that down a little bit. We said we'll take somebody else's property that would cost us maybe £1,000 every month. Depending where you are, it could even be £800 or even less than that. And obviously, if you're London, you're talking a lot more than that. So obviously, your rental amount will always depend on where you are. But once you've agreed your rental amount, then it's the same for the next 12, 24 months, 3 years if you agreed a contract for 3 years. So now that we know it will roughly cost us the rent amount, which is, let's assume for this exercise, £1,000. Then we look at the expenses of running it. So I'm going to go in a different video and go into more detail about the expenses. But what I wanted you to think about is roughly if you assume that all your expenses will be between £500 to £700. Let's assume that's the case. And then we'll move on into looking at who would stay there, who's going to be paying us that money. And if we assume, and I'm not saying that because it's just unrealistic figures, if we assume there's somebody who's going to stay at your property and pay you £120 every single month. Now, £120 every single day. Now, if you get £120 every single day in a month, that would be £3,600. Now, I'll let you work the math. It only costs us about £1,000 for the rent. It costs us about £500 to £700 running it. What would be your profit after that? Now, let's be honest. It's not every day you're going to get somebody who's booking it 30 days, but you can get about 20 days. You can get about 25 days. And if you're lucky, you will get the 30 days booking as well. So this is definitely a strategy to look into. So let's go back to who would be staying in those service accommodation. So when we're looking at service accommodation, a lot of people tend to think that we are talking about holiday lets, and it's people that's coming here to stay on leisure purpose. However, with service accommodation, it's much broader, it's much bigger. We're not only looking at people who are staying here because they're working in the area, we're also looking at people who are, not just people who are traveling there for leisure purposes, we're also looking at people who are traveling there for business purpose. Now, within leisure, obviously, you have people that comes from abroad to a specific area. So let's say you're the UK, somebody from abroad is coming to your area and visiting it, but you also have people within your area who would come and visit. And depending on the property you have, you can have different type of guests. Now, apart from your leisure guests, you have the business travelers guests, which a lot of people don't think about. I mean, definitely not me when I started. When I started, I thought Airbnb, who's going to stay on in Airbnb? It must be people traveling for leisure. There must be something attractive in the area for them to travel to that area. I had no clue that there was people traveling and staying away for like 4 nights a day or sometime more and willing to pay that every single week. I didn't really realize there was a market out there. I'm sure many of you would not realize that until you go into service accommodation and you actually physically see the type of guests that you'll end up getting. Now, we'll focus on business on a different video. We'll try and keep it as simple as possible. Let's think about your leisure guests. Now, if you're in an area where, let's say, there's a nice cathedral that everybody wants to visit, then definitely people will travel to your place just to stay there. And all you need to do is make sure that property looks absolutely amazing so that you can attract people anywhere when you're looking at your property. They're like, yeah, I would like to stay there. I'd like to visit that cathedral. This is what you need to do with the property. You need to take the property and make it look amazing so people come and stay. People are willing to pay you £120 a night, £150 a night, so you can make that £500 to £1,000 profit. Now, some properties, some big properties, you could be making about £1,000, £2,000 profit every single month. Because the property is really big, they'll attract a big number of people staying, but also you're able to charge £200, £300 a night to stay at the property. Yes, you're going to have more costs because it's a big property, but you're also going to get more profit if you run it effectively. So stay tuned, stay with me. If you want to learn more, just join me, follow me, and you will see that I'm being constantly posting useful tips how to run service accommodation, but mainly focusing at the moment on whoever wants to start, how to start in service accommodation. I really want to help as many women out there, as many mum out there to start the journey in service accommodation. And like me, hopefully one day stand up and say, hey, I'm a prior service accommodation operator. Have a lovely day. Take care, everyone. Bye. If you've got any question, put it below. I will definitely get back to all of you. Take care. Bye. Thanks for joining. Pia Tulika. I hope I pronounced your name right. And Southwest Road. Thank you. Bye.